Alright, so now that we've done the combo lock, let's do some fun stuff. Let's find a way to make this thing a little more complex. So, the way that we're going to do that is by adding an extra layer of complexity to basically what we're doing here. So, I went ahead off screen and added in a button here on the side. So, what we're going to try and do is make it so that the player has to type in their code, but it isn't just going to work out the second they get the right answer. Because there is a chance they could just, get the first 3 digits right, they don't have the fourth, so they just cycle through it until they get what they want. That's, they could do that normally, but it's a little boring. So what we're going to do instead is just have a button that they have to press to check if they were right or they were wrong. So this button, pretty simple. It just sends a message called combo check out to everything in a massive radius like this. In fact, it's kind of on the edge there, so let's make the radius a little bigger even. It has an indicator that just has some text code, or check code rather, text that comes up, and if you click it, it makes a click, because you know how I like my clicks. So, now that we've done that, we are basically just going to get an extra layer added to our little cake over here, which is going to be corresponding to that button. It's not going to work like the other ones, though. It's going to be a little different. What we want is for this thing to open up when we click that button, always. No unnecessary checks required. Just open when I click. And we want it to close when it, after a second elapses. But we just want it to close and reset on its own. Because a second should be enough time for this thing to reach the bottom, and assuming all the other gates are shut, a second is more than enough time for that thing to fall down and for this message broadcaster on the bottom to catch it. That's why we're picking that. So, go ahead and get rid of all the old tags. We'll call this guy the top gate, let's say. So we'll give it the top gate tag, and we'll go ahead and change some stuff here. So this is going to send the, let's call this the closed gate. I'm going to use the closed gate tag to basically shut the gate. We'll be sending that in a bit. And it's going to spawn something with the top gate behavior to it. One different thing we're going to do here is this is actually going to have its own tag, which is going to be top gate spawn. So now we have that. That's great. If we test that real quick, actually no, that won't work yet. We need some middlemen. So these guys before, just like before with the other 4, we need to kill this thing using a middleman. So we're going to do that by dragging him out. So it's going to send it to the tag top gate. It is still going to send the kill tag. It is still going to reset and still die very fast. What it's not going to do, we're just going to wait for a combo check tag, which is good. So now if we do that, we should expect that thing to, let's just check that. Yep, perfect. You just saw it disappear, but just like before, it's not resetting. So we got to do a bit of extra things. So go ahead and spawn this again next to him. And this is what we're going to do. So this guy is going to, this is where we're going to start to use the death delay mechanic. So we're going to type in 1, which means it's going to wait a second before it actually dies and sends its message. It's not going to go to top gate anymore. It's going to go to top gate spawn, and it's not going to send kill. It's going to send close gate, that message we had earlier. So this thing is the mechanism that is going to reset it and respawn it, right? So, okay, we got that. That looks good. So let's test that real quick, just to be sure. Right, so now we expect it to shut and then pop in a second later. Perfect. The last thing missing is it needs to kill the master key. So go ahead and spawn another one of these guys out. It's also going to have a second delay, but now it is going to send I believe the mkey.kill, if I remember right, kill message to the mkey tag. Remember, with these things, you always have to have a tag here. If you don't, it's not going to send the message anywhere, and you're going to be sitting there confused. So, let's go ahead and click this. Come on. There we go. And poof. Perfect. So it waits a second and respawns. Waits a second and respawns. So that's how we do that particular step. So let's go ahead and show you. So let's do the 4, 2, 3, and 1. So as you can see, it's got a nice clear path to the goal. So if we click that button now, click it, it falls. Oh crap, I didn't hit a click. Perfect. So even though it respawned the top after you were done, it opened the door. Now, one thing I just thought of that is going to break this, if you click it again, it's going to shut the door and play that sound again. Not exactly what we want to happen. So a really easy way around this is to just go into the speaker, and there's this nice helpful option called only play it once. So it will open the door once and then never again. So let's just, yeah, well, I mean, just take my word for it. It does work, though. Okay, so now that we've done that, maybe you're feeling kind of sadistic, and not only do you want to make them check, but you want to punish them if they're wrong, to really make sure they don't try to brute force it. So there's actually a really easy way to do that. You can use a message broadcaster. So I'm going to put one of these guys over here. A message broadcaster is just what it sounds like. It's just a fancy message broadcaster that takes an input and spits out an output. These things are useful because there's actually a built-in tag into the Game Maker that will hurt or harm a player. That's how you actually cause damage to them sometimes. So click message broadcaster. If you send the message damage, colon, and then a number, it will damage anything in its radius with that value. Remember I said anything in its radius. That includes you or any of the numpads that have health components. There's a lot of problems there. So there is a quick way around it. We're going to hide this thing so it isn't visible. The broadcast type is going to be specific tags in the range. Now, it shows a range all of a sudden. Let's make this range very big. So if you do 8, oh my god, yeah, that's like the size of the land. So there's nowhere the player can hide here. Go ahead and add the avatar tag to this. And we're going to also click wait before broadcast. This thing is going to wait for a tag before it hurts the player. What tag are we going to use? Well, I think a good one to use is the close gate tag. For reference, that's the one that's sent here a second after they click the button. What that means is, after you click the button, a second later, it will hurt the player for 10 damage. That's what we expect to happen anyway. So let's try that. Click it. Okay, it did not work, so let's see what's going on there. Ah, I know exactly what it is. Okay, so remember how I said before that you need to have this health components always have to have a send to tags? Well, they can only send things to things with their tags. You can have many of them, but it has to have a destination to go to, and we did not tie that together. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the tag, I don't know, damage. So now that we put that there, if we give this thing the tag damage, they now know how to talk to each other. So what we expect to happen now is you click this button, and a second later, well, nothing happens. What's going on here now? Let's see. Just getting hasty, I guess. Specific tags in the range. The avatar. Close gate. I'll do that one, I guess. Why not? Oh, well, there's the problem right there. The damage message isn't actually correct. You gotta do damage colon 10. I thought I typed that. I guess I was wrong. Let's see if it works this time. Perfect. You actually saw it, like, kind of like animate there a little bit. Yeah, so now every time we click this and we get it wrong, we are going to get hit for 10 damage. Now, the keen among you probably noticed that even if we get it right, we're going to get hurt, which is not really what we want to do. We want to reward the player for getting it right, not smack them in the face. So, easiest way to do that is to add a nice little component here called the toggle behavior. So this thing will let you take whatever the behavior is, whatever the blue thing is. That could be a plant, a platform, doesn't matter what. And it allows you to turn it off and on at will. Just make sure that the thing here says initial behavior state is true, because we want this thing to always be active. But there is a specific case that we don't want it to be. That is when the salt tag gets thrown. In other words, if they have a clear path to the goal here, they've gotten all 4 right, and they click this button and this thing falls, as soon as it hits the bottom, it's going to not only open the door and make that nice little pleasant sound, it's going to shut this thing off. Hopefully before this thing sends the message. If that thing gets shut off, then this message won't hurt you anymore. That's what we're basically taking advantage of. So, once again, you click it, you get smacked, it resets. So let's go ahead and see if I put in the right code now. We should expect that I don't get hit. Perfect. So, it opened the door, and I did not get smacked around, which was a nice touch. So, and because we only put it in the off setting for that, it can't come back on ever. And by the way, if you click that again, that thing we did earlier, it no longer will close the door or make a happy message. So yeah, that's a cool way you can do that. You can play around with that as much as you can. Keep in mind, this is just one way I'm sure you can do this combination lock. This is the way I came across. There are no doubt things that I did wrong. So if you guys have any suggestions of how this could be improved, I'm all ears for them. And yeah, happy game making. Thanks for watching.